Hillsborough is still on a 2-hour delay, as is Lake Oswego, Tiger, Tualatin, Westland, Wilsonville.
I was just going to ask you on Hillsborough, it doesn't have a timestamp on it. So Hillsborough is a 2-hour delay?
That's the last update we got from Hillsborough, was a 2-hour delay.
Okay, we will try to get that filled in. Hey, let's take you out to Salem. That's one of the spots with a lot of snow. So Tim Gordon is out there. Tim, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I got you. Happy Monday to you.
Yeah, you too.
Here on KGW Online. Hey, yeah, it's snowing in Salem. It has been all morning long. When we got down here, 4:30 or so, into the area on the valley floor, it was wet, slushy stuff, 33 degrees. Just climb a little bit in Salem and you're into snow, 32 degrees. And at this elevation, about 500 feet, we're in a neighborhood here just off of Liberty Road South. You can see the snow. The plow came through here, did a pretty good job of clearing this out, which is pretty impressive to have a plow come down a neighborhood street. Pretty main street here. It's Radiance, I believe, is the name of this avenue. But a couple inches of snow in the grass, an inch or so on the sidewalks. It is still snowing here, and we're kind of in the bullseye of it. And of course, the big headline here is that Salem Kaiser school kids are out for the day. They do not have school because of this snow, you know, it's definitely slippery getting around. If you got to get out in it, you can stay home and just enjoy it, or take the sled out to the neighborhood park. That's probably the way to go this morning in Salem. Yeah, it's really it's something else. I think it's kind of just as Rod and others have called it, Matt, yesterday, and the National Weather Service talking about that kind of coming up from the south and meeting the cold air, and it definitely met it here in Salem this morning, guys.
Great for us, Tim. Can you reiterate where exactly in Salem are you? Last I was listening, a little south and a little west of downtown Salem, correct?
Yeah, no, we are. We're a little south. We're a little bit west. We're at about 517 feet. We could take you for a little walk. I know we're online. We could talk for a little bit if you want. We could take you up to Liberty and you can see that street. You good, Chad? Chad's walking along. We got our boots on now, and we'll take you up. But yeah, we're just a little bit off of downtown Salem, I don't know, a couple miles south and a little bit west. The hills go up a little bit higher. We were up at about 700 feet in the dark earlier, and a little bit more rural up there, but it was a nice country road, and it was quite a nice scene with a couple, 3 inches of snow up there. And here we've got 1 to 2 inches of snow, depending upon the surface that the snow's been landing on. But Liberty Road South here is a pretty main traveled road. There's a lot of traffic on it. Not a ton of it this morning, but there's enough, and they've plowed it as well. And 32 degrees, it's slippery enough, but it's been treated and it's been plowed, and when the cars go by, you can kind of hear a wet sound going by. So that's a good sign. People are going by gently, and that's definitely the way you want to take it. Is take it slow this morning in Salem. Guys, back to you in the studio and on the internet.
Yeah, we just want to welcome everybody who is streaming us right now, watching this extended coverage online on Facebook, wherever you're finding us on our KGW News app. Good morning. Happy Monday. Shall we get a check on traffic?
I know the man is standing by. That man is Chris McGinnis, standing by at the traffic center.
Yeah, and guys, one of the areas especially hard hit in this storm, of course, we've been talking about down towards Salem, and especially to get down towards the Albany area, right? This is I-5 near Highway 34, just south of Albany. You can see the camera lens there kind of plastered with snow. Same story near Highway 228 in the Lake Creek area. Again, this is south of Albany, between Albany and Eugene. So that's one of the areas across western Oregon that has been hammered with heavy snow. Luckily, not dealing with that in the metro areas. I lost one of my cameras. Let me try that one more time. Get the button here. I wanted to show you a little bit of a lineup on Highway 26. This is out near Cornelius Pass Road. And it's amazing, again, from one side of town to the next, what the snow scene looks like here. This is, again, out in Hillsborough, and there's some pretty good snow coverage there, at least on the median, right? And part of the road anyway, but the traffic here that you're seeing lining up is kind of a normal commute on the westbound Sunset for this hour of a Monday morning drive. Folks lining up to get onto southbound Cornelius Pass Road, heading down towards, like, the Intel campuses. Now, on the north side, up towards, like, West Union and out towards the Helvetia area and up in the West Hills, we have had some fender benders reported on West Union Road specifically, and another one. This one's still showing up near the intersection of Germantown and Old Germantown Road. And one last thing I'm going to leave you with, I keep going back to this camera, the Santiam Pass, because ODOT is still dealing with an avalanche up on Highway 20 over the Santiam Pass. So guys, as of last check, like as in the last 2 minutes or so, Highway 20 still closed between the Willamette Valley and Central Oregon with that slide at Santiam.
All right, Chris, thank you. We want to go out to Christine Pitawanich. She's been out showing us Hood River all morning. She took that drive out through 84 this morning. Christine, what was your drive like, and how are things now?
Okay, so the drive was actually pretty okay, Ashley. We started our morning in East Multnomah County, Gresham, Sandy, looking mostly wet, I would say. Roads looking totally fine. Troutdale, totally dry when we went through that area. 84 was looking great. Snow started sticking around the Cascade Locks area, and now we're in Hood River, and so we'll give you a chance to take a look at the roads out here. Fortunately, a little bit of gravel kind of thrown down on the roadway here, but snow definitely still coming down. The road, snow covered here, this town snow covered in 84. Definitely, you know, take it slow if you're coming through the gorge, that's for sure. We see a whole lot of people shoveling the sidewalks. We've seen a number of, you know, trucks with those plows attached to them. And of course, we've seen a sander as well. Some of these hills have been kind of dicey for those big trucks. We've already seen a couple of them get stuck, and that is not uncommon to see in this area. Last time we were here, we saw the same thing, but we'll continue to kind of run around, zip around the Hood River area and even back to the downtown. I think we're actually headed to Salem to see what's going on there as well. We're kind of in the process of moving our crews. Ashley, you talked a little bit about a behind the scenes look since we're all over social media right now. We're just kind of all over the place. We go from one spot to the other, kind of following where the news is. So we're probably going to be hitting the road out of town, out of Hood River here pretty shortly, but we're going to continue following the snow coverage, and we'll tell you what we see through social media. So keep tabs on all of the reporters' social media outlets and KGW as well. For now, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Christine, thanks a lot. Christine mentioned all the social media platforms that we're on right now. Twitter, Facebook, our KGW News app, KGW.com. You can watch us on all those platforms right now as we go digital. We went back to the Today Show on TV, but we have lots of viewers watching us right now on these digital platforms. And I'm following now some of the questions. So if you have questions, you can ask Ashley or I right on, for example, our KGW Facebook page, and we will try to answer those questions as they come in. Videos now, Ashley, from the Hillsborough and Beaverton areas this morning.
So these are some videos people posted on Snapchat. I guess these pups are loving the snow. That's great. I love seeing videos of animals out in the snow, huh? And then, oh wow, people are gonna have some scraping to do on their windshields. Look at that. Good morning to wherever this viewer was when they took that video this morning. Do we have any more? Here we go. There's another one from Snapchat. Somebody out driving. Checking out the roads. One
of those situations where a couple of weeks ago when we had the storm that wasn't for a lot of people, one of those places that didn't get the snow was Beaverton. And man, did we hear some of the complaints from those school kids out there. And Rod is saying maybe this is payback for them because they didn't get it then. Obviously, Beaverton got it pretty good this morning, enough to close schools for the day. Although, you know, people wake up in different parts of town out there. And I asked for people to chime in on our Facebook feed this morning. We just heard from a viewer. Let me scroll it back up here. This viewer named James says, why would Beaverton schools close? The roads are clear. Well, obviously where he's at, he's seeing clear roads. Perhaps there's other parts of the district that aren't so clear this morning. It's always a tough call for the schools.
And keep in mind, those certain districts have lots of hills, so the terrain there could be different in your neighborhood, and then 3 blocks away it could be a hill and buses can't make it their way up there. So yeah, we have lots of comments. Somebody is wanting to know if we're going to see snow in East Vancouver, Camas area. We were talking to Rod a little earlier about Clark County because it seems like, you know, Clark County didn't get a whole lot. It just kind of was one of the spots that got missed, although the Battleground School District is on a 2-hour delay. Now, it looks to me as though the district made that call last night when they posted it to Facebook. So maybe it was a preemptive thing. Maybe roads were icy last night. But again, who was that viewer who just asked about that? I'm sorry, I lost your name. Oh, Charles Rhodes. So yeah, we will ask Rod when we check in with him next about Clark County, though.
One more viewer chimes in. Many have, but I'm just going to pull up Kayla's comment right now. She says, you want snow? We have over 2 feet of snow here in Eastern Oregon. So you can find snow if you want it. Tim Gordon found the snow for us this morning. Not in Eastern Oregon, just a little bit south of downtown Salem. Good morning again, Tim.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, we're in a neighborhood just a little outside of downtown Salem, and boy, I wish you could have got to us about 30 seconds sooner. As a guy just came walking by, he's going out for his exercise. He stopped and did push-ups right on the sidewalk. If he comes back and does them again, you got to come back to us because it was really cool. It was great. Yeah, we're enjoying the snow falling in Salem. If you're out driving, be careful because it is slippery, no doubt. It's slushy at the valley level, and just up a few hundred feet, we're at about 500 feet here in this neighborhood. You see plenty of snow down, a couple inches on the grass, an inch on the street. They plowed this street. That's nice to see. Welcome to all you joining us online to talk about this snow. This is kind of where we expected it, and here, and you can see the. It looks like a sedan, a Mazda, probably a front-wheel drive, and doesn't appear to have any chains on. So we'll see how they do. Nicely done. Very good. Hi, how are you? Have a nice drive. He didn't wave, but he's keeping his hands on the wheel. That's actually smart.
Doesn't want to
Very
be on
smart
TV.
of him. And then here's another car. No. And then here's a car. Hey, dust your car off more than that. You should dust your car off more than that because, you got to be able to see. That's one thing I've seen a lot this morning. Is people driving around with a bunch of snow on their car. Just take a minute and dust it off. It's safer that way. That's my public service this morning, is to have good visibility when you're out driving. No school down here, guys, today. Salem Kaiser, the kids got to be loving it. And so a neighbor came by. Oh, another public service announcement. Woman came by. She was very friendly. She didn't want to be on TV, but she was watching us and saw that we were in her neighborhood when I mentioned the street name. And she came up to say hello. And she said, tell neighbors to help their neighbors out. Like, I'm going to go get the newspaper from my elderly neighbors, and I'm going to get it out of the snow and put it up on their doorstep. I thought that was very nice. So do something nice for somebody today with this snow down here in Salem. What a nice idea, isn't it?
Tim
and
Gordon
also, hey,
yes, Tim?
earlier in the show, we were running, huh?
No, go
well,
ahead.
one other thing, if you don't mind my rambling. Okay, good. Earlier, I heard a lot. There was a soundbite, someone talking from Eugene about the snow down there and having some hot tea and a bottle of red wine. I thought that was I heard that several times. So I think everybody down in Eugene is drinking hot tea and wine right now.
Hey, why not?
We're going to go find out because actually the bosses said, hey, yeah, we're going to go find out. The boss said go to Eugene. There's like a foot of snow there or something. So we're going to go see if that's true.
Yeah.
And
It's
after this is all over, we're going to head south and
The
see
red
what we
wine.
can find.
Tim Gordon
It
with
is.
lots of
And
fatherly
if
advice.
there's any wine left, we'll bring it back.
Thanks, Tim.
Fatherly advice on
My
this Monday
pleasure.
morning. He is a proud dad. We mentioned earlier that his daughter Grace won a state title in high school gymnastics over the weekend. So very cool there. I like Tim's advice. Hey, clean your car off. Don't be driving around with that snow still on your windshield.
I need to know what nice thing you're going to do for us today, for me.
For you?
Well, Tim's saying help out a neighbor. So if I need you to shovel some snow as I leave work.
I mean, we're neighbors in spirit, but technically we're not really neighbors.
Technically we're not, but we're neighbors in the office. Hey guys, Tim was talking about school delays, or school closures rather, for Salem Kaiser. So we just want to bring back this list of all the districts impacted by today's weather. So you see the list. In addition to Salem Kaiser, here are some closures: Beaverton, Hood River, Stevenson, Carson, McMinnville, Yamhill, Carlton, Corbett, Cascade, North Santiam, and Willamina. And we've got a lot of delays. Drew, do you want to read some of them?
Sure. The delays are many, Portland Public being the big one, but lots of the other big school districts closed or 2 hours delayed as well would be Gresham Barlow, North Clackamas, Lake Oswego, Hillsborough, Tiger, Tualatin. Again, you mentioned Salem Kaiser closed for the day. Salem made that call early on at 5 o'clock this morning. We knew that. Beaverton was a school district that was for a long time 2 hours delayed, but here in the 7 o'clock hour, they made the switch to calling it a complete day off for school kids out there in Beaverton.
My Facebook friend Patrick messaged me that Oregon Trail School District is closed. I haven't heard that from any of our producers. I'm sure that's an easy thing to research, so maybe we can check on that. But according to Patrick, Oregon Trail is closed as well. So there's your list, and let's check in with traffic. Chris, any new problem spots?
The good news is I haven't really seen a lot of trouble, certainly on the freeways anyway. We're in pretty good shape. What you're looking at right now is kind of normal backup for this hour of a Monday morning drive. This is the westbound Sunset commute getting off at Cornelius Pass Road. All of those folks going to head south on Cornelius Pass towards like the Intel campus and whatnot. Wanted to show you some of the other Washington County roads, though. We have had some earlier trouble spots. The climb eastbound up Barnes Road towards the Skyline Boulevard intersection earlier was a little bit of a trouble spot. Washington County enacting all 3 of their snow zones. Keely Chalmers was up there just a few minutes ago, though, and she indicated that it looks like the road's in better shape now than it was maybe an hour and a half ago. This is a little farther out in Washington County near the Cornell Road 143rd intersection. And I want to take you out also towards and south of the Banks area, or not Banks, but Forest Grove. This is out near Fernhill Road. And you can see certainly there are some pockets where we are dealing with snow-covered roads on that side of town. We hop over to Vancouver. Sorry, kids, you got to go to school, right? And this is why, because there is nothing on the roads other than some road spray. That's the I-5 commute up near SR 500, so that looks like it's in pretty good shape. We'll switch gears real quick, and I'll show you the Banfield. This is I-84 out near Providence Medical Center, and maybe a little dusting here or there, but guys, by my estimate, that's pretty close to a speed limit clip coming in from gateways. So at least that part of the Banfield looks really good right now.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. And when he says back to us, go ahead, Ashley.
I was just going to read a funny comment for all of you guys. Good morning, watching us on social. David wants to know if any bars are open this early to cope with the snow.
David, we're not going to do that
It's
research right now.
7:45, David.
You had a good idea to research whether or not Oregon Trail schools are closed.
Yeah.
Let's work on that. We'll deal with the bars later. Is
Not
that fair?
the bar thing.
Rod Hill in this morning. Rod, I gave you credit earlier because it was last Tuesday, 6 days ago.
Keep
Way
an eye,
back when.
Keep an eye on Monday, Tuesday. Keep
That's
an
what you
eye.
said. Keep an eye on next Monday, Tuesday.
You know what's, good morning, by the way. You know what's even more bizarre this time? The last snow event, remember, that dumped 6, 7, 8 inches of snow near and east of 205, but one of the bigger stories for a lot of people was, hey, we live in Beaverton, we don't have anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This time around,
There you go.
It's maybe a dusting to an inch around Portland on average, but guess who doesn't have anything? Gresham, Camas.
Yeah.
How do you explain
The east
that?
side, that's-
And you're
you
saying,
can't.
even with the
You
wind
can't
coming
explain
in
it.
on that side, nothing.
Yeah, the storm's moving that way. There's cold east wind blowing out of the gorge. So it's just another reminder that it's almost rare that we get a winter snow event where it's uniform and we all get the same weather. And for forecasters, the only thing we correctly pinpointed about this was, hey, it's so far south, you folks up in Longview are going to miss out. That's been the case. Haven't really had much of any snow from about Ridgefield up to the north, and we haven't had much of anything when you get up to the summit and over on the west side of the Coast Range either.
Sure.
Here's a look. We'll start at Cannon Beach. That's
Ooh,
live.
That's pretty.
Is that a big snow mound?
Yes.
No, that's Haystack Rock.
Guess who has no
Dirty
snow?
snow.
Cannon Beach. Remember that one snow event? We had snow at the beach. We thought we might get something down around Newport, but every time I looked at the radar down along Newport this morning, it was rain. But beautiful scene from Cannon Beach. Now let's go out to the gorge where the winter storm warnings are set to continue throughout the day. This is from the Oregon Veterans Home out in the Dalles. 30 degrees. Temperatures generally in the gorge are 30, 32. We have partial snow cover on I-84. And even though traffic is moving, if you can avoid driving in the gorge today, absolutely do so. It's still very possible that I-84 gets worse, not better, during the day today. Temperatures holding down around freezing. Our newest member of our live camera family is the Stoller Family Vineyards down in the heart of the Willamette Valley wine country. And you could see some wetness on the camera lens, what looks to be a dusting on the hills out over the vineyard. It is below freezing. I'm not sure the elevation of that camera, but 29 degrees. So FutureCast, this is 10 o'clock, but it could happen, it's what, 13 minutes before 8. This could happen by 9 this morning, that the accumulating snow part of our day is pretty much done as the storm, the colored areas, move off to the east. And then later today, just some frivolous scattered showers. It could be a raindrop or a snowflake. 37 right now. I have us fairly steady, mid to upper 30s throughout the day today, 36 at 5 p.m. Forecast models say that some areas could bounce up to about 40 for a high. Longview's been dry so far. You may stay completely dry. Otherwise, Battleground 38, Vancouver above freezing. This has been mostly flurries to wet dustings up in Clark County and down in the heart of the valley. Looks like Salem's been closer to 2 inches of uniform snow than the higher amounts that we thought earlier today were at least going to be a possibility. Here's that forecast I showed you a moment ago, and here's our 7-day. Overnight tonight, going dry, we drop down to 26 degrees. Tomorrow looks primarily dry, maybe a flurry, partly cloudy, 39. A little system passing even farther to our south than the one we've had this morning. Hits on Wednesday. That'll throw clouds up to the north into our area, maybe a touch of some light snow showers, not expecting any accumulation. Thursday, we lose the east winds as the wind pattern goes to the northwest. Low system might give us a mix of precipitation in the morning. And then after that, we're totally done. And look at Saturday, partly cloudy skies and 52, which deserves a hallelujah. Yeah, that's Saturday's forecast as we bounce it up to 52, which, by the way, would still be considered below normal as we get into the first days of March. We've only hit 50. It was on February 2nd this month.
Wow.
Basically every single day this month in terms of the high temperature has been below normal.
That was the first Saturday of the month, 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Quick question, Rod, because we have so many viewers just
Yeah.
joining us. They may have missed the beginning part of
Morning.
your forecast, but a lot of people are asking about tomorrow morning, whether like this will melt off, if it's going to be icy tomorrow morning, you know, looking ahead.
If you just have I would say if you have an inch or less, which is most of us, certainly here in Portland, I think all this melts away during the day today. Temperatures will easily be 37, 38, and we might get up to 40 even this afternoon for a high. But of course, we'll be watching the potential, and especially on Salem, where they may not melt everything today, icing. Because if we get any breaks in the cloud cover tonight, we're talking low to mid 20s. Very cold batch of air overhead.
Do you think the weather gods care that Friday is the first day of March? Because I think once we hit March, we should be done with all the winter weather.
Well, here's
Instantly melt.
I know something about this, believe it or not. So the outlook models right now are pretty consistent. in that we stay at least in a colder than normal and overall fairly active wet weather pattern through about the first 10 days of March. After that, we turn, and then we finally get back up to more normal temperatures, which would be a lot of days in the mid to even potentially upper 50s, the back half of March. You have to think, if you look at what the models are showing right now, that this event that we're having today is probably the last chance for any widespread accumulating snow of the winter season, probably.
Even that being said, I'm sure it will still look like winter when we head out to Hood River, but we're not going to go there just yet. Is this Keely Chalmers shot right now? So this is Keely Chalmers shot for us. We know that Keely has been checking out sort of that area that where Washington County bleeds into downtown Portland. And we talked about some problems on the roads there, and clearly this is a picture that tells us there are problems in the road there.
We're in Germantown. We're in Germantown Road.
Actually, Keely, you're on with us right now on the digital platform. So if you can go ahead and explain where exactly you are, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool, guys. Yeah, just wanted to, we did move over the last 20 minutes. We moved up here to Germantown Road, where we had heard that there were some problems up here, slick roads. And you can see the issue up here as we go up. This is a big truck, probably four-wheel drive, probably able to handle these conditions. But this truck stuck in a ditch, and we'll pan the camera around, Dave. I'm working with Dave Angier here, who's a photographer, and you can see several more cars in the ditch up here. And you can clearly see that the road is snow-covered, conditions kind of slushy, kind of slick. And this is what happens when you have that. It is coming up a hill right here, so these cars obviously trying to get up the hill weren't able to make it and slid into the ditch. See several cars off the side of the road. We'll pan back over here. I'm going to try to make sure we get off the road because we do have some traffic moving through here. Folks have been trying to get this truck out. We had another truck. This is why there's this yellow line here. We had another truck just trying to pull it out, but it was unsuccessful. So right now it's kind of a waiting game up here with these, I'm sure the drivers waiting for the tow trucks, maybe waiting for a break in the weather before they can get their vehicles out. But again, we just arrived on the scene. I was just walking up when I heard you talking about it, and just wanted to clarify where we are. We moved. We were at down at Southwest 118th and Barnes, but we moved up here to Germantown, where we heard there were some issues, and that is exactly what we found. Certainly some issues. We're at higher elevation. You can imagine the snow is going to be thicker up here, going to be chillier up here, and as you can see, the roadways certainly a little bit more treacherous up here as well. But we're going to try to talk to people, find out what's going on, and we'll check in with you in just a little bit. For now, we'll send it back to you guys.
Quick update, our producers have been texting us the latest on the school closures. And correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, but these are all closed.
Yes.
So Jesuit High School is closed. Dayton, Oregon Trail, and Banks districts closed today. So
I'm going to confirm all those closures.
Okay, I was like, are they delays or closures? But there's been so many of them.
Jesuit, again, Jesuit, Dayton, Oregon Trail, Banks, just joining the list of closures. We've been running those at the bottom of, do we still have the crawl when we're online? I imagine we would.
I don't know. No, we
do
don't.
not. I apologize.
So KGW.com has it, though.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We also have Christine Pitawanich, Rod. She's been out there in Hood River. That's an area that we know, even when we reach the beginning of March here in a few days, it's still going to look like winter in Hood River.
And again, Hood River, that storm warning, last I looked, was still posted through midnight tonight. It could definitely be getting worse out there, Christine, before it gets better. And we're still telling people probably a good idea just to avoid the gorge today. If you can, tell us what's going on, Christine.
I think you're right about that, Rod, because I can tell you we decided to head out of Hood River, and this is what we're looking at right now on I-84 westbound. You can see snow covered, especially in the left lane. At least we've got some gravel in the lane that we're in right now. An Oregon State trooper actually posted up right here. Don't know if he's just kind of monitoring, you know, people's speed. I know that we've come through here in the past, and sometimes there are people who drive, obviously we've all seen them, way too fast for conditions. So if you're heading into the gorge, just know this is what you're going to be dealing with. So yes, if you can avoid it, please do. And if you have to drive through the gorge, then just take it really slow because this could be going on kind of all day, especially if you're going to be in Hood River or in the surrounding area. I can tell you, we started our morning in East Multnomah County. Things were looking pretty good there. We're talking about like Gresham, Sandy was looking fine, Troutdale was looking totally dry. Right now we're on the road. I believe we're going to be heading towards Salem, kind of chasing the news wherever we find it, I suppose. We've been kind of zigzagging all over. Grateful though, because before we headed out of Hood River, we stopped in at Dog River Coffee, got a little bit for our ride to stay warm and all that. So we'll continue to give you updates on our ride. But yes, right now 84, snow covered, patches of probably ice, so be careful. Back to you.
All right, Christine, thanks a lot. We got some great coverage from all of our crews out there on the road right now, just to let people know what's going on our end. Ashley and I in our studio right now, continuing this winter weather coverage, but we are still doing TV out of our KGW studios as well. So Brenda Braxton in just a moment will be on television with an update during our Today Show. So we're going to step out of the way for a moment there, Ashley, so Brenda can do what she needs to do. Of course, we don't ever turn off the digital channel, so you can keep it right here on KGW.com, the KGW Facebook page. Some of you watching us on Twitter this morning, we say hello to all of our viewers on those digital platforms. We're going to put this shot up for the moment, this live look at downtown Portland. We have some others we can kind of roll through right now. Timberline Lodge, obviously a lot of snow there up on the mountain on this morning. We'll continue to scroll through these pictures. We'll step aside. Brenda Braxton takes over on the TV channel here momentarily. I changed mine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brenda Braxton. We are tracking snow from the Portland metro area down to Salem. We do want to start this morning with some school closures for you. Closed today: Jesuit, Beaverton, Salem Kaiser, Hood River, Stevenson Carson, McMinnville, Yamhill Carlton, Corbett Cascade, and North Sandy Am. We also have schools that are opening 2 hours late: Hillsborough, North Clackamas, Tigard Tualatin, Gresham Barlow, Reynolds, David Douglas, Westland, Wilsonville, Lake Oswego, and Oregon City. You can find all of these closures and delays scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Right now, we want to send it over to KGW. Keely Chalmers is joining us live up on Germantown Road. And Keely, I know you've seen a lot of trouble with folks and the slippery conditions.
Yeah, we just arrived here about 15 minutes ago. We're on, as you said, Germantown Road in Washington County, just west of the Portland border. And yeah, there is a mess of cars up here. I'm joined now by Roy Morin. Yeah, correct. And You obviously ran into some difficulty this morning.
Yep, Channel 2 was stuck in the middle of the road, so I pulled up behind them and then tried to get around them, and then I ended up sliding in the same ditch they did.
Wow.
So.
And you're not the only one. We have what's going on here behind you?
Early this morning, everybody's trying to get through Germantown. Usually I get through Germantown, but end up being that all these cars and some other cars that were stuck in the middle of the road, so I had to stop and apparently I tried to get going, and this slope here pushes you right into the ditch.
Wow. And you even tried, when we came up here about 10 minutes ago, it was your son trying to tow you out?
He's waiting. We're going to try to get it out and get the heck out of here.
Right. And you were talking about conditions. You drive this often.
Yep, for years I've been driving over Germantown in this type of weather, and usually if you stop, you're going to get stuck somewhere.
And even with a four-wheel drive, which is what you obviously have.
Usually, with our trucks we can get through on closed roads too.
Wow.
So,
wow.
But not today. Everybody stops and everybody gets stuck. All the cars that have been going by, they just slow down, and that's when they start getting stuck or sliding into our cars, and we just try to push them away so they can stay away from our trucks and cars so they don't get hit.
Yeah. Your advice to drivers: stay off of this area.
Yes. And I believe the cops are down below, and there's a truck into the ditch, and I think they're going to close that off too on Cornelius Pass.
Oh, on Cornelius Pass. Okay.
Yep, they're going to close it. So that's why we're trying to get out.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, we wish you the best of luck.
Yep.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Roy. All right, so you see it. If you're driving out in this area, your best bet, stay off of Germantown Road. It is slick, it is slushy, and looks like if you go down near Cornelius Pass, it's sounding like it might even be closed here shortly. So again, snowing, the snow's still coming down. The conditions out here slick. We'll be out here throughout the morning. We'll keep you posted on the conditions. For now, we'll send it back to you.
You got it. Thanks, Keel. And you are absolutely right. That is not the only trouble spot this morning. Chris McGinnis joining us with a traffic alert.
Yeah, let's get you out to Washington County again. Another shot of Cornelius Pass. This is near the Highway 26 exit ramp, and just a couple of seconds ago, I'm not sure. Looked like a car had actually gone off the road, had gone off the exit ramp from westbound 26 onto Cornelius Pass Road southbound. The road itself there actually looks like it's in pretty good shape, but I did see some cars over on the side there just a couple of minutes ago. Here's a quick look at some of the other Washington County Road snapshots. This is up near Barnes and Burnside. And a reminder about Washington County, they do have their snow zones in effect for all three of their snow zone locations. Barnes Road being one of those. This is out near 143rd and Cornell, and this is Fernhill, south of the Forest Grove area. So a number of trouble spots out there. We've had obviously the crash that Keeley's on, another one now over on Cornelius Pass, and another one looks like at the intersection of Logie Trail Road and Highway 30. And last but not least, Brenda, one of the other really big trouble spots with this storm has been down in the Eugene area. While we have kind of been spared, this is a look at I-5 near Coburg. There's a solid covering of snow on the road down there.
Oh, there sure is. Chris, thank you for all the information. We also want to check out the conditions in Salem. You guys have been getting hit as well. We sent Tim Gordon into a neighborhood. And how many inches of snow would you say they have?
You know, Brenda, we're at about 500 feet in this neighborhood, and I'd say there's a couple inches of snow on the grassy areas. You know, it's a little bit better able to build up there. And then on the sidewalks, on the side roads and the main roads, maybe an inch of snow or so. But, you know, people are pulling out of the neighborhoods fairly safely. You know, people are spinning a little bit here and there as they try and get going with their two-wheel drive. You see that happening right there. So we're just a little bit south and southwest of downtown Salem. And again, about 500 feet. It's been snowing at this elevation all morning long, and it's still coming down right now. You can see the traffic. This is Liberty Road south, which is a pretty popular, you know, busy thoroughfare, and some traffic on it this morning as well. So people are getting through, but it's definitely a morning to be cautious if you're in the Salem-Kaiser area. You know, the headline down here, the kids are out of school in the Salem-Kaiser district, so they'll be able to maybe enjoy this a little bit this morning as it continues to fall in Salem. Brenda, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. Let's bring in meteorologist Rod Hill. Walk us through the next few hours. What are we in for?
Let's start with Salem. It's at the bottom of your screen. I think you can see it right here. Salem, see, it's dry just to your west. Salem, McMinnville on the back edge, so you're about done with the snow, actually. Longview we thought would be the one spot that would miss out because the storm is to our south. You folks have missed out. North Plains, some light flurries. Gaston, some light flurries. But there's the back edge is not too far away from Hillsboro, even at this hour. FutureCast 9 o'clock, 9:30 shows accumulating snow is done for the day. And after that, it will just be some frivolous scattered showers. This is the live camera. That looks like the Reserve Vineyards in, no, wait a minute, is that, what golf course am I on? That's Aloha. This is Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha, 32 degrees. Still snowing out there, but on the back edge of it. And our planner for the day shows mainly dry this afternoon. Brenda, mid to upper 30s, maybe 40s. So a lot of folks just got a grassy dusting. That will all melt as we progress through the day. The snow, maybe another hour or so before it's ending for most areas. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Rod. We will have our next live television coverage coming up at 8:29 this morning. We'll weather coverage streaming on digital. There is a live look at a snow-covered Stoller Vineyards. Keep it tuned to KGW.
Ashley, we promised our digital viewers that we
back.
would return, and we have returned. Hey now, don't do that noise again, please.
What was that?
We won't let that happen again. We are covering the weather still because there has been a lot of changes, not really to the forecast. Rod was talking about this early this morning, and it really hasn't changed forecast-wise, but the big change this morning has been school districts throughout the day. Some closing, some that were on 2-hour delays are now closed. So we're going to keep you updated on all the school closures around the area. There have been some trouble spots developing, specifically where we saw Keely Chalmers' crew not too long ago up there on Germantown Road. But let's go back to those school closures right now, Ashley. The big ones we've talked about this morning, Salem, Kaiser, they called it quits as far as school today, way back at the 5 o'clock hour. Some of the other big ones that are now closed for the day, Beaverton. Jesuits, that was just in the last 20 minutes. Jesuit High School is closed because of snow today. A few others, Corbett, Stevenson Carson, North Santiam, Yamhill Carlton, Banks, Oregon Trail, Dayton, among these schools that are closed for the day. 2-hour delays, Ashley, want me to take care of that, or you got that?
We got a lot of them. The big one, Portland Public on a 2-hour delay. Hillsboro, North Clackamas, Tigard, Tualatin, Gresham, Barlow, Reynolds, David Douglas, Westland, Wilsonville, Lake Oswego, Oregon City. Also Battleground schools on a 2-hour delay. I'm trying to pull up here our Facebook feed. So again, good morning to everybody watching us on all of our social platforms. We have a lot of them. So whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, welcome and good morning, and please leave us your comments. Maybe let us know how things are in your neighborhood, or if you have any weather questions. I've got it pulled up here, Drew, so now I can see everyone's comments. Good morning, Kelly, Annette, Megan, Nat. Thanks for tuning in. And now let's get back to our field crews.
Let's pull up Keely Chalmers on this snow day Monday. So Keely, I wanted to get back to you just to confirm. Obviously, you're on Germantown Road. You mentioned that the last time we saw you. I'm trying to figure out where along Germantown Road. It looks like maybe you're close to Old Germantown Road right now. Is that where that problem spot is exactly?
All right, so we are on Germantown Road, Washington County. Let's see, west of Kaiser. But east of Cornelius Pass. I don't know if that helps you out, but we came up basically Kaiser and then took off heading west on Germantown Road here, and that's when we ran into this. In fact, we couldn't get by this at that time, but you can see several cars in the ditch here. Talked to one gentleman who was the driver of this silver truck, and he told me basically he was coming down Germantown Road here, a route he takes every day to get to work, and what happened was there was a kind of a pileup of cars, and so he slowed down, and when he slowed down, just slipped right on into that ditch. You can see that's a pretty big, deep ditch, and so he's not able to get out. We have a tow truck that just about, I don't know, 3 minutes ago arrived on scene, and it looks like is trying to get this little light blue car, looks like a Lexus, out of the ditch. But this is a pretty deep ditch. We have several cars in it right now. One gentleman I spoke with earlier told me that at one point this morning there was probably about 6 cars in the ditch total, and so we're getting some help here finally, but I don't know if you can see it, but behind that tow truck we do have a line of traffic now kind of coming up here of cars that are now stopped because of this tow truck. And you can see, I don't know if you could, Dave, if you could catch that. Oh, there you are. We even have the tow truck drivers trying to get the cars towed up or hooked up, slipping and sliding on the road here. So not only tough for the cars, but also kind of tough for the folks trying to get the cars out of here. It is pretty slick up here. You know, it's interesting because it looked like, if you just look at the road here, it just looks kind of slushy, like it would be no problem to get through. But I think what's happening is it's slush, but you got some ice involved in that slush, and that's when you get the cars just kind of gradually sliding off the road because we're at a little bit of a tilt here. And so that's the issue. The other problem is that because it kind of looks like it's slushy and maybe not that bad, is drivers get a kind of false confidence when they're driving on roads like this, and they think, hey, it's just slush, I can get by. But then they get onto it, and the problem, according to one driver, is that when you stop and you're going slow, not only can you not get the momentum to go again, that's when you start to slide, and that's what happened here, is these cars just kind of sliding off the road. But finally, the tow truck has arrived. We have this car looks like it's getting hooked up and hopefully getting pulled out. We did see another car try to get pulled out by a truck earlier, and that truck was just spinning its wheels, so that was not successful. This, however, looks like a professional operation, so hopefully we'll see some progress here. As we look around, there's some cars backing up now, kind of coming down Germantown Road, seeing what's happening here and just backing out of this situation, not even trying to get onto this hill, because probably once they get on this hill, they know that they might not be able to get back out of this mess. So again, a mess up here on Germantown Road. We are in between Kaiser and Cornelius Pass, where the conditions up here very slick. We have several cars off the road in ditches, and the best advice for drivers who may use this road to get to work or get to wherever they're going, your best advice: do not use it this morning. It is a slick mess out here. Again, we're going to be staying out here throughout the morning. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look. They might be trying to get this car out. Oh, I thought they were going to get it, but maybe not.
Man, that looks slick
we'll
out
be
there.
out here throughout the morning. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
They may need your muscle, Keely.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps they need your muscle.
Slipping and sliding.
There we go.
They definitely don't want my help. I'll tell you what, I'll be more hindrance.
All right, Keely, thank you. You know, some of the fun of doing this extended coverage on digital is because we can interact with you guys. So I just want to read some comments. Thank you guys, all of you who are watching this morning. We have Teresa LaRoque says it's snowing in Dallas. Benny Adams says no snow in Gresham. Crystal Crawford, good morning. She's in Vancouver off Mill Plain, not a single flake. Nicole Miller is in Gresham, just a light dusting there. And then we have, of course, lots of people. Let's see, Wanda Kent says it's coming down really good here in Northeast Salem. Jill Stolly Rylander is also in Salem watching it snow. She says the winds are picking up a bit, but she loves it. So keep commenting with your questions or what you're seeing in your neighborhood.
I notice a viewer keeps popping up on that Facebook feed of ours. His name is Chris McGinnis. Oh yeah, we know that Chris McGinnis, but Chris chimes in with, hey, heavy stuff, talking about the snow, heavy stuff now in a small band over the northern West Hills near North Bethany. And again, we have seen more closures as this morning has continued. Newburgh, one of the new closures we've heard about here in our newsroom just a moment ago. Christine Pitawanich, we know, Ashley, she was out there in Hood River for us this morning. Yep. She's in Drive 8, so now she's driving back in towards Portland on I-84 heading westbound. And it sounds like, Christine, if you're not there yet, you're getting close to Cascade Locks.
Actually, yeah, we just passed Cascade Locks and we are on I-84 right now. Actually, right before Cascade Locks, it was still a bit slushy on I-84. Let me give you a look at what we're seeing now. Look at this. It's looking really nice. So once we got past Cascade Locks, I mean, we just passed it a second ago. Roads are actually, or the highway, looking pretty good. We're going highway speeds. Doesn't look like snow is accumulating on the roadway, at least right now. But once you hit Cascade Locks, if you're headed eastbound into the gorge, you'll see that there's a little bit of slush, maybe in the left lane. You know, snow is starting to pile up a little bit as you head further east. Once you get to Hood River, though, it definitely is packed snow and ice on I-84. And if you get into downtown Hood River, snow covered as well. And we just left there not too long ago and it was still snowing. But yes, if you're looking at I-84, if you're seeing the same thing I am, still looking good. Just be aware that once you head further east, it's going to get a little bit dicier. Right now we're headed probably toward downtown Portland, actually down to Salem is I think where we're going to end up. But I know you've also mentioned, yeah, one of our viewers wrote in Gresham, no snow. We were there earlier this morning. We didn't see any snow there either. A little bit of accumulation, but like that road.
Oh,
and Troutdale, totally dry.
Christine, I think we're losing your shot. It's breaking up a little bit, so we'll let you go. Thank you for that update. So Chris is going to take us actually down to the Eugene area because that's one of the worst hit spots. Chris, what do you see in there?
Lane County just got hammered with this storm, guys. And can we get to the chroma wall here? I wanted to show you. This is out near Coburg, so it's just a couple of miles north of Eugene. And that's I-5, and there's like not a soul on the road, and with good reason, because there are stretches of I-5 south of Eugene that are actually completely closed right now because of some downed trees and just really bad conditions. This is I-5 near I-105, the spur that goes into Eugene, and you can see it's kind of a winter, well, it is a winter wonderland there. And over towards Veneta, is it Veneta or Veneta? It might be Veneta. This is Veneta. Thank you for that. Over near Territorial Highway in Oregon 126, and you can see that that is obviously a snow-covered mess. I mean, they are really hammered in that part of the Willamette River Valley. In the metro area, we've had some pockets where things aren't good, and I'm thinking that this guy encountered either took the curve too fast or maybe it was a little icy. This is the Highway 26 exit ramp off the westbound Sunset to Cornelius Pass Road southbound, and that poor guy or gal is kind of stuck there in a sporty-looking car there over in the snow, and it's just kind of sitting there, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and check out some of the other freeway cameras right now. Highway 26 out near 217. The Gore Point's got some snow in it, but the road itself down to bare pavement, so that's good to see, and it looks like traffic is actually flowing along just fine there. And Vancouver, you're wide open right now, and not only are you wide open, but there is nothing, not a snowflake to be seen on that camera, and no snow on the ground either on I-5 or I-205. So that side of the river, guys, spared with this snow event, so we're certainly happy to report that. One quick look at roads over near Washington, on the Washington County side of things, and that's where it appears that the heaviest snow is set up here over the last, at least the last little while here. You can see still some pretty good snow coverage, and keep in mind that a lot of these roads are up a little bit, 200, 300, 400 feet, so not right on the valley floor, but in any event, as you can see, there are parts of our area, folks that are watching us this morning, that are going to have a little shoveling to do today, guys.
Yeah, Chris, thank you. I'm glad the Vancouver area is looking good because I've got stuff to do this afternoon. So
you know what? No plane shot he showed us. Also reports of nothing at Camas Meadows Golf Course, nothing up at the Vancouver Mall. We live over by Columbia River High School, and there was just a light grassy dusting on the road this morning there.
Well, one of those events where, depending on where you're at, you're going to see a whole different ball game, because you mentioned Clark County, little to no accumulation, but Debbie Bill on our Facebook page right now says it's snowing in Salem. Catherine says, of course, I'm not surprised to hear this, snowing in Redmond, over a foot they received in Redmond.
Over in Central Oregon.
In Central Oregon. Yeah. Milton Freewater, Jessica Morris checking in from Milton Freewater. She says the snow is really coming down thick right now. Thick snow, Rod.
So Salem, it looked like most areas are at least going to have a solid 2, maybe 3 down there before it winds down, which is just about to happen. So it's 8:18, and since we went on the air this morning at 4:30, we've been telling you that we thought the accumulating part of this snow event would be ending somewhere around 9 o'clock, or at least the back edge of the storm pushing east away from I-5. And here's I-5. Back edge of the storm at 8:18 this morning is significantly breaking up. McMinnville looks like you're now done. Longview never started. One part of the pinpointing of this that we did get correct is that we didn't think it would go up as far as Longview, and it did not. It is absolutely as surprising, I would say it's more surprising, that we really didn't get anything over in Gresham and Troutdale this time around. Remember last time the surprise was we didn't get anything over in Beaverton. So another example that, unless it's just a classic big old snowstorm, these events seldom hit all of our little microclimates, all of our neighborhoods the same way. There you can see snow becoming very light on 26 out through Beaverton and Hillsborough, and that is the back edge of this right now. Scappoose, you're on the back edge of this as the system starts to move to the east. The end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center, this is a fairly new camera out in Oregon City. This was covered in snow yesterday morning. Remember yesterday morning we had reports of snow in Tigard and Oregon City and quite a few spots. But nothing down there. This is just off of 205 down at one of the Oregon City exits this morning. Here's FutureCast at 9:30, about an hour from now, showing I-5 is dry and clean as the storm continues to make its way off to the east. So this time around, a flip-flop from a week or so ago. A week or so ago, it was heavy on the east, nothing on the west. This time what we do have is mainly on the west side. There's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha where it's 32 degrees. Downtown Portland, it's been a light grassy dusting, if that. 38 is the, now this is confusing because we're showing you downtown, but this is the temperature out along the Columbia River at PDX. Downtown Portland here at KGW, we've been 32, 35, 32, 35 all morning. We may get up to 40 today. We'll at least spend most of the day in the mid to upper 30s with a scattered shower potentially this afternoon, but really primarily dry weather setting in. Overnight tonight, the story's cold. We'll get down to 26. There could still be snow on the ground in places like Salem where you picked up 2 to 3 inches of snow, but Portland, except for the West Hills, probably loses everything during the day today. A little bit of snow shower activity we're monitoring on Wednesday, another maybe something Thursday morning. None of that looks significant. And then we go into Saturday when it's going to be partly cloudy and 52, which deserves a hallelujah. I've had fun doing that all morning.
But we're not there yet. We're in the moment right now. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on the KGW.com. Rod, I just wanted to point out, I love reading the viewer feedback. So viewer Ann, I believe it's Nodine or Nodine. Ann Nodine. She says, I'm in the Fruit Valley neighborhood of Vancouver. Are you guys familiar?
Yep.
That's over on the west side.
On the west side.
Now, Rob's in my ear saying it's what, Rob? Amy. Oh, yeah, never mind the last name. It's viewer Amy in the Fruit Valley neighborhood of Vancouver. She says we do have snow sticking on the ground there right now.
We do. That's a bit of a low dip. It's kind of over toward Vancouver Lake area if you don't know where that is.
Here's a name I know I can pronounce. Rick Mock in Scappoose.
Sure? What's Rick have? Up Highway 30.
Mock, and he's in Scappoose. He says it's snowing right now still in Scappoose.
And we had reports of snow on the ground at St. Helens, that entire Highway 30. Scappoose, you're right on the edge. It's dry. If you could throw a rock a long ways to your west, the rock would land in no snow.
Yeah, nice. Well, okay, Rod, thank you. We want to recap on some school delays and closures. These are some new ones, not on your screen, I don't believe anyways. But Dayton is closed, Newburgh is closed, Klickitat closed, and the U of O Eugene campus closed today. There are a bunch of them. Jesuit's one of the new ones. Jesuit High School closed for the day, and then the rest of those are a bunch of districts that are closed. Let's pull up the delays too, because there are just as many delays, if not more. Portland Public, Hillsborough, North Clackamas. I don't think we got Battleground on there, but Battleground was on a 2-hour late start as well up in Clark County. So here's the deal. There are so many of them. We have them all at kgw.com, and continue watching us throughout the day on social, online. We're going to have our next TV cut-in about 5 or so minutes in the Today Show, so you can follow us there. And then, of course, stay tuned for the news at noon today.
Or you can go out and get breakfast. Snow's going to be ending.
Us breakfast.
I want you to watch us. Breakfast sounds good.
The moment that she says Battleground schools are closed 2 hours, which they are, we have a viewer, Annette, on the Facebook saying, there's nothing on the ground here in Battleground.
I think they made that call last night, maybe preemptively. Maybe it was a little icy. And, you know, they have different terrain up there.
A lot of hills up in that school district.
We know there's snow in Eugene. Ashley just mentioned University of Oregon campus closed today in Eugene, and this is why. Snow all throughout that area. We got great video from viewers down in that part of the valley. They're having snow out there, or they're having fun out there, I should say, in the snow out there.
Snow.
That's a snowstorm. Wow.
There we go. Thank you very much. The epicenter, would you call that the epicenter of the storm, Rod, the Eugene area?
I would.
Thank you. It's confirmed.
Definitively, yes.
We're going to go offline, so to speak. We'll continue this conversation amongst ourselves, but hopefully you'll follow all of our coverage of today's weather, both here on our digital platforms and throughout the day on KGW News. Any closing words, Ashley?
Will we continue this?
Well, we meaning the news team,
I'm
not
kind of
necessarily
done
you and I.
talking weather. I'm ready to go eat lunch. At 8:30 in the morning. Hey,
Happy
guys,
lunch to you.
Have a great, it's lunch for us, breakfast to you. Have a good Monday, guys. We'll be back on TV in just a few minutes.